Well, it's we had nearly 70 people registered tonight. I see that it's showing that we have 32 in the room now. So um, people will join as we begin, but out of respect to all of your time, we're going to go ahead and get started. And as always, let's begin with a word of prayer. This is a prayer that's called Lead Us. So let's begin in the name of the Father and the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord, lead us from death to life, from falsehood to truth. Lead us from despair to hope, from fear to trust. Let peace fill our hearts, our world, and our universe. Let us dream together, pray together, and work together to build one world of peace and justice for all. Amen. Thank you. Wouldn't that be great? A world of peace and justice for all. It's part of what we do and part of what we try to bring on our relationships in Haiti and Latin America. So glad that so many of you could join us tonight. And I want to just share one piece of really great news. Some of you have heard me talk about and probably read me share about Starlink, its availability in Haiti. And I've been pointing people to an organization called HaitiNet, who's helpful to some in getting that installed in Haiti. We've certainly had some challenges, I know, but I'm happy to say that my own parish, the one behind me in the picture there, we had it installed last week. And my pastor called me from the roof of his rectory where they were actually installing it. And he did a video call, the first time we've ever done a video call from there. I have never seen his face light up more than it was. He was so excited. It was a great moment and time for our twinning relationship, and it's working beautifully. We bought an extra, they call it a mesh, which is a unit that'll allow it to be cast a bit further, and so it can be received at the school that's kind of next to the rectory. But the Starlink doesn't, the signal doesn't go out terribly far, so this extends it quite a bit. So I'm told that it's working great. So I'm here to say that it worked for us. I know that Dr. Sue had a challenge, and it was a lot of just delivery problems, just inter-country Haiti problems, as we call them. So they hit a snag with HaitiNet, but I've talked to a few others who have ordered a system, and some have been installed. So like everything we do in Haiti, we just have to ask for lots of patience, because things, especially now, take longer to get anywhere than ever before. So
David, what was the cost of that?
It was $950, and that was for the Starlink system, for delivery and installation, and for us just to know that it was going to be delivered. That was well worth the extra price, because you can buy the system for about $550. But then you also have to be prepared. There is a $50 a month charge. And just by the way, because one parish emailed me today, you have to be prepared. That has to be put on a credit card. So we have a parishioner at St. Matthew that they're making it as a donation of theirs, and they put it on their own credit card, because you have to have an account. Our pastor didn't have a credit card, probably like a lot of priests in Haiti. So just be prepared for that too.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
here to tell you, it's working great. He's excited. I'm going to be down there hopefully in January, and it'll be great because I'll have the ability to access the internet and do work and communicate from there. So anybody else out there have had a system installed? I know, Dr. Sue, you did, just through another method, but yours, is it working well?
It's working great. And our priest down there was able to join us on our last Haiti committee meeting by Zoom. So that was really exciting.
Just fantastic.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I'm really excited that you all joined us tonight. I expect that we'll have a few others drop in as we move along, but I'm really happy to have Denny Ballman from Bethel Computers and Kevin Keene from Brighten Haiti. They kind of sometimes work in tandem, because of course you need electricity to operate computer systems, and sometimes, as we know, we have to employ solar to make that happen. So I think Kevin is going to go first, and so I'm going to turn it over to Kevin and take it away.
Awesome. Thank you. And just to piggyback on what you were saying, we got Starlink, maybe 4 months ago, and it's been working amazing. We just installed We had it on our director's house and it's been working great, but we just installed it yesterday on our training center, and we had our first ever board meeting that included all of our apprentices. So that was extra special. Great clarity. I mean, so yeah, Starlink is definitely highly recommended. So I'm going to jump into this. I think I'm going to talk a little about solar for um, maybe about 20 minutes. Then Denny's going to talk about computer labs for about 20 minutes. Then we'll have some time for Q&A afterwards for both of us. And like David said, yeah, Denny and I work definitely hand in hand. When we look at providing solar energy, especially to schools, that's primarily what we do, because we understand that solar is really the path out of poverty for everybody globally. As we provide energy, then having lights and ceiling fans, lights so students can read better and see better, because it can get quite dark in the classrooms, and ceiling fans because the gets stifling hot in those classrooms as well. But without any kind of, I guess computers really, because most schools have a bookshelf maybe 4 foot wide with maybe 50 books on it, and certainly not good education. So Danny will talk about the computer labs, but yeah, we work well together. I'm going to show a quick video, and it shows actually both the solar installation and the and Denny's computer lab, what he is known as Internet in a Box. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'll just kind of talk through the video, talking about the different parts and pieces that are included as they go over it. So this was a school just south of Cap Haitian, Haiti, near Ganave. And these kids were just absolutely fantastic. They were super excited to get electricity. The first time their school had electricity. So they put on this little circle dance for us, and had a good time. So most of the schools, and we can certainly do parishes, we can do clinics, however your parish wants to help your community. And I'm going to talk about a different way in addition to kind of our standard method as well. But primarily what we do is we provide solar to schools, and it's a quite different way of getting solar to schools. So typically in Haiti and around the world, when you don't have electricity or grid, I should say, then you're going to have solar panels. And this is just one of the students who was reading without electricity, of course. But we don't use batteries, and that greatly reduced the costs of the system. So we can provide Brighten Haiti with a lot of the different things that we do. So you're watching this video of all these cool kids and everything. We can provide the solar systems for about 75% less than traditional systems. So I'm just going to kind of let this run. I'm going to turn up my volume. Maybe you'll hear it on my other. So what you're seeing here is all of the work's being done by our solar apprentices, and they might be on with us, zooming in from Haiti. But a big thing that we do is make sure that Haitians are actually doing the work. So we're training 22 young people. Oh, here, let me close this so you guys can see the entire screen. Sorry about that. We're just So you guys, oh, sorry about that. So that was an installation that our team did over the weekend, last weekend. And so that was a 4 kilowatt system. And if you guys don't speak solar like I do day in, day out, then that's totally fine. We can talk about it kind of offline, but it's more than enough to power to provide lights for schools, fans for schools, Denny's computer lab, rice cookers, Starlink, and more. So that's what we do. Most schools typically, to power school would cost about $30,000 with a traditional system, maybe up to 50,000. We're able to do it for about $8,000. So when you're thinking about for your twin parish, then that's about what the average, cost for a solar system that's plenty big enough to do that. And if it's a really large school, then we can add to it. But that's kind of the starting point for a school of 2 to 400 students, 10 to 14 classrooms. So yeah, that's about the solar for schools. Now I want to share something that's this is hang on one sec. So this is what I'm calling Brighten Haiti 5.0. So all communities have kind of the same problem. Everybody in Haiti has cell phones, but there's no place to charge them. Minutes are super expensive, and there's no electricity, no computers. And so we're looking at the business model where we can put these solar internet cafes into rural communities, really any type of communities. It'll have computers with Starlink internet, like what we talked about, and it gives the whole community access to cell phone charging, device charging, if they want to charge up USB powered lights or radios. They can do that. They can connect to the internet. They can rent computers. So this is kind of the next iteration of what we're looking at. So instead of running, a grid to everybody's house, people can just come here, connect with their phones. They can rent computers, and these are going to be. The idea is to really have a model where it's eventually going to be owned by Haitian women. So we're going to find Haitian women will be nominated from the communities. They'll go through a management training program with Brighten Haiti to learn how to operate it. Typically a U.S. investor, it could be a NGO, like, of course, the Catholic Church, your parish, whatever. So you guys could invest in this. You guys would own it. And then as the Haitian manager over the years, then they're going to get more and more of the ownership of this. And so the first year would be entirely owned by the parish or maybe an individual investor. And then year one, or after the first year, then they can get maybe like 10% ownership. And then after about 7 years, then they'll be the majority stakeholder. So this is just a brand new idea. We've got to run a lot of numbers. So you guys can really help us help your communities. I shared with David a survey. So for us to make this work, it's got to work financially. People want to know that, hey, if we're going to sync, we're projecting that the solar and internet cafe with everything in it. Some things I didn't mention, there's going to be an ice maker in there. There's going to be rice cookers and food service and kind of full service. But I think that we can do this for about $15,000 and really kind of upgrade a community kind of overnight. But we need real hard data from communities about what they're doing and about what they're paying, how much they're paying for cell phone minutes, charging their devices. So if you can help us gather that data, then we can help get this to you as soon as it's ready. And with that, I'll turn over to Denny.
Kevin, if you don't mind, I just had one observation. It's Tom Gettelfinger and we were kind of out of, a little bit different order on what we did in our parish in Haiti. Before the cell phones became popular, that was one of the first big projects that we did, was started an internet cafe in the part of the rectory. And we had up to, I think, 14 computers set up with internet access and, training kids with the, basics on the computer, tried to teach them a little word processing and stuff they might use in school. And our experience was, and we had a teacher from the school that actually staffed it in the evenings, and so it was open, I think, 4 days a week, 4 or 5 days a week. And initially, we had particularly kids in school, just a line waiting for them to get into there to use the computers. Cell phones came along and it killed the internet cafe, because they really liked being on the internet, and they got their phones. I mean, we ended up abandoning it because no one came.
Yeah.
Because they were on their cell phones.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. I mean, even in the US, the generation is on their cell phones more than computers. Yeah. I see a need for both, definitely. So the cool thing is that instead of making Haitians pay for minutes for their cell phones through Starlink, they can connect and they can WhatsApp and they can do everything. Kind of like what David said with the mesh system, we're kind of projecting that you can broadcast maybe about a 1/4 mile radius. So of course they'd have to come in proximity. But we're kind of thinking that these internet cafes ran by local Haitian people would charge a subscription of maybe $10 a month for unlimited internet and cell service. Not really cell service, it's internet that replaces the cell. And so, you know, instead of spending $20 a month with Netcom or Digicel, then they can connect, and then they can also power or charge their cell phone and other devices at the same time.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yep,
Appreciate it.
Denny.
Yeah, Danny.
So we'll have Q&A for both of us afterwards, but I definitely want to give Denny plenty of time.
Thank you.
Yep.
David, I need to share my screen too.
You should be able to.
Okay, let's see if it's gonna work. Are you seeing it?
Yep.
Okay, so I don't have a movie to show you, but I think in more than one email that I've sent to David and maybe others, I've included the website for Bethel Computers for Education. There's a couple of movies on there. One from a school in Uganda. You can see that, it's outstanding. Another one is from Haiti Partners, down a little bit south of Port-au-Prince. And so you can look at what we've done. I want to talk mostly tonight about our Internet in a Box. We really donate, well, we're up to almost 6,500 computers that we've donated to schools, clinics, community centers around the world. More than half of them, more than 3,000 of them, have gone to Haiti alone. Okay, that donation is made up mostly of what we call client computers. They're pretty much ordinary vanilla flavored laptop computers that have the Linux Mint operating system on them. They have word processing, spreadsheet, internet, you know, Google, all of that, and a very small selection of educational software, some of which comes in the form of games that the kids just love, like Tux Math, Tux Typing. There's a couple geography ones on there, but that's not the forte of what we do. I want to say very briefly, because I saw that Gil Irwin's on this Zoom call also. Another one of our products is a medical Internet in a Box. And for those of you that are doing medical clinic outreach, I'd be more than happy to talk to you or email, whatever, and give you more information about our medical Internet in a Box, except that what you're seeing on the screen now, it's going to look a lot like the medical one, except that the information on there is all medical resources, from medical aid films, global health media, Hesperian, those are the Haitian Midwives Organization. So we've actually, I'm very close to the Haitian community down here in Vero Beach, Florida. We've actually translated and reproduced, revoiced 9 medical aid films into Haitian Creole, okay? And the last one we did is on diabetes, and I'll let Sue and Gil comment about the quality of those, okay? So let me just leave that aside for now and talk about what's on your, I hope you have my user's guide open in front of you. The HIIAB is the Haiti Internet in a Box. It's what we donate to schools, and it is loaded with educational materials. I'm going to go through these really quick. David, I'd like you to cut me off when I reach about 18 minutes, okay? All right. So Caliber right here is nothing more than a library management tool. And it now has about 7,000 books on it in English, French, Spanish, and Creole. One of the really great things that just happened within the last year, in addition to our marrying up with Kevin at Brighten Haiti, but the other really good thing that happened was our contact with SIL International, SIL, the Bloom Library. They have about 20,000 books, but we downloaded about, I don't know, 4,000 of them. And not only are they, again, everything I say is in those 4 languages, okay? But the other great thing about the Bloom Library, you can Google this, by the way, and look it up for yourself. The Bloom Library not only has this wide selection of reading material, but they've broken it down by learning levels. And they have level 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those do not necessarily equate to grades 1, 2, 3, and 4, but teachers are going to be able to look at those and see what learning level are their students at. And they can download the books from the server to the client laptops. And these are the books that I want my 3rd grade kids to read, okay? Here, you can see the languages: English, French, Haitian. Okay, we have 555 books in caliber in Creole. Okay, there's about 1,200 of them in French, and I don't know what the number is in 2,900 in English. Okay, but I assume that most of you appreciate the difficulty of getting reading material in Haitian Creole. Unbelievably difficult. All right, but we've done it. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. The system, if you read your user's guide, you'll see that we expect the teachers to go onto Caliber, the library management tool, and pick the books that they want their students to read. It's not my job to tell teachers what their kids should read. They can do that, okay? So I'm going to leave it at that, okay? Let's see if I can get rid of this. All right. Oh, shoot. What did I do?
You stopped sharing.
I didn't want to do that. Oh, my goodness. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Where'd it go? Oh, don't go away. Oh, hang on a minute. I got to get
Just
the other
find
one
your share
open
button
again.
again.
I got to get it open again. There it is. Okay, now.
I love that the computer bot guy is having computer trouble.
Do you have the penguin on your screen yet?
Not
No.
yet.
No.
No, you lost it, huh? I need to go back to sharing again. Shoot. Return to meeting. There we are. You should be getting it now. All right. You got it?
Yes.
Yes, it's back.
Okay, so I'm not going to talk a lot about Wikipedia, but because I think most of you know what Wikipedia is, okay? But again, the benefit of Wikipedia, well, it's pretty good for one thing, but the thing is, there's like 6 million articles, subjects in Wikipedia in English. There's about 2 or 3 million in French, and now there's about 75,000 in Haitian Creole. Now that's pretty pathetic, actually, but it is what it is. Okay. The other thing is that the articles in Creole are not in as much depth as the ones in English and French and Spanish, okay? But I'm not going to go in. You guys are pretty familiar with Wikipedia. This encyclopedia here is huge. It is just awesome. This is probably the only scientific encyclopedia in the world written in Creole, okay? And we ended up buying the copyright permissions from Fakir Vilsant, who owns Educavision in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. They produce stuff in Creole. They're good. They're really good. But what we have here is human life, animal life, plant life, earth science. I can't see this one over here. It's behind the thing. And then physics, astronomy, mathematics, technology. And number 10 over here is an index, okay? It's interactive in the sense that, are you seeing this, what's opening?
Yes,
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open the page. Okay. There you go. And they can blow it up. They can research it from the index files and go to whatever book they need. Okay. It's fantastic. It's the only one in Creole. Okay. I'm going to go back here and I'm going to return back to that. And we're back to that. Okay. Why? All right, that's that. Okay, that's the encyclopedia. Colibri. What happened here? I don't want to go to this. There it is. It's coming up. Colibri is a software package that is produced by a nonprofit out in San Diego called Learning Equality. Okay. I hope some of you are familiar with Khan Academy. You can Google that too. You can see it written on your screen, Khan. Khan Academy is a outstanding educational package that presents really simple lectures on all sorts of subjects, okay? And these lectures are typically a teacher at a blackboard explaining something. For example, if I open, I'm going to open the English one, but you can see it's available too down here in French. Okay, where is it? Down here. We have it in French. But I'm going to open it in English so we can just get an idea what it is, okay? For example, in math, there'll be a teacher standing at a blackboard telling you that not only that 2 + 3 = 5, but she'll explain why 2 + 3 = 5. It's a great learning tool. And it's a good learning tool, not only for the students, but for the teachers. And you guys know better than I do what the educational levels are of your teachers and what the qualifications are of your teachers. But you know, you could have teachers that could use Khan Academy to maybe learn another way to present a subject, okay? So there's math and science. You can see blackboards. This presentation I'm doing right now normally takes me an hour and a half when I do a demo of all this, okay? And so I'm working it through in 15 minutes, okay? All right, so that's that. I want to go back. Let's see. Let's see. All right. Another really good thing too. Now this Affluton Academy in French, a lot of this is more reading material. Touchable Earth right here is really interesting. It's videos from around the world, okay? And it could be a kid in China saying, this is how I go to school in the morning. This is my teacher. This is my classroom. This is my family, all right? Now, the reason I make such a big deal out of this is because when you live in well, here we got Sue Carlson on here. You know, when you live in a little village like Meador, how big is your world? It's not that big, okay? But you open up Touchable Earth and you say, wow, there's a kid my age that's going to school, and here's how they do it in China or in Saudi Arabia or Germany or whatever, okay? It's all about expanding their world a little bit, okay? I think it's a great tool. Down here, the FETs. FETs are simulations, okay? They're produced by the physics department of the University of Colorado. They have, I think it's about 120 simulations. Now, what's a simulation? Well, you know, you wish that every school had a science lab, okay? Well, they don't, okay? All right, and so if you needed to explain something, for example, something really simple like a teeter-totter. We all know how a teeter-totter works. And we know that if you put a 200-pound adult on one end of the teeter-totter and a 50-pound child on the other end, we know which way the teeter-totter is going to go. So the simulations explain that, okay? And they allow the student, let me see if I can open it, okay? Okay, well, I opened it up in Creole, and I don't speak Creole, okay? Okay, earth science, chemistry. You can just kind of see the pictures. Physics. Let's see if I can get one of these up here, okay? Well, here's one on static electricity. Here, John Travolta, that's on electricity also, how it flows. All right, I can't find the one on the teeter-totter right now. All right, but these are simple visual simulations on physical phenomena, okay? In math, science, chemistry, physics, all of those subjects, okay? All right, let me leave it at that right there. Out of those 120 English simulations, my Haitian friends and I translated about 100 of them. So there are about 100 of these simulations in Haitian Creole. Now, that might not be good for the first and second graders, but if you have a school that's got high school kids in it, or even middle school, it's a big thing, okay? Let me leave that. There it is in Spanish. I have people from other organizations that are former educators, and they're very familiar with Engage New York. They're very familiar with CK through 12, and they think they're fantastic resources for schools, okay? I'm going to leave it at that, okay? Let's see if I can Calibri. Scratch.
Internet.
I can't tell you how many over the last 20-some years that I've been sending computers to Haiti. I can't tell you how many schools have asked me for some software that teaches kids how to do computer programming, okay? And so here it is. And hang on a minute, it's going to open. There it is, okay. Now, first thing I need to tell you is that up here, can you see my mouse in the top left-hand corner, David?
Yes.
Okay, so if I will click on that, it's going to open up the languages, and there's every language in the world is available, okay? Now, what we're doing with this Scratch, is we have this cat over here on the right, and what we want to do is get the cat to do something. We might want them to jump or turn or sing or dance or whatever, and we do that by moving these instructions, which I don't even understand the language, but that's all right. All right, we can move these instructions over there, and we can program the cat to do different things. Now, if we go up here to the tutorials, all right, we can program other things too, like we play a musical instrument, okay? Play soccer at the bottom, all right? So, and there are instructions on here for the teacher on how to use Scratch in the classroom, okay? And it's in their language, okay? Not bad, not bad, all right? So I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna go back to Internet in the Box, I hope. There it is. I'm gonna go back to the home page. And then last but not least, GeoGebra Classic. I'm not a math major, Maybe some of you are, but this here is going to teach classic algebra, geometry, graphs. Again, I'm not even going to try to explain it, but if you're a math teacher, you'll certainly understand what it can do, okay? All right, so I'm going to go back to that. I think I got close to my 15 or 20 minutes. Your user's guide makes it very clear that the server is meant to be turned on in the morning by a teacher and turned off in the afternoon. And our typical donation to a school usually consists of 15 to 20 computers. We donate a Wi-Fi server, a Wi-Fi router, if we have one. If we don't, you got to get your own. And then we donate the server, the internet in a box. I don't know. I'm going to end with that. Sue, if you want to say something about what benefit this has had for your school in Meador, I'd be happy to let you take a minute or two.
Sure, I'll say a few things. Thank you, Denny. We were so happy to get computers from Bethel Computers through Denny several years back, couple years before the pandemic, actually, to start a solar powered computer lab for the secondary school in Meador. And it worked really well. I'm not sure how well it's working now, just because there's been some problems with the solar energy system, but it worked great when we first got it. And the kids in Meador do really well on the national exams, and the priest attributes, at least in part, the kids doing so well because of having access to the internet in a box and the computers, and the kids loved it. So we were so grateful that the computers are free. You just have to be able to get them to Haiti. So the way we did it, because we have had trouble in the past if we tried to ship anything, we just brought computers when we would go visiting Haiti. We put them in our suitcases, and that worked out really well. We haven't been to Meador since before the pandemic. So we're thinking that when we are able to go again, that we'll probably need to get more computers from Denny to replace some that may have been broken or whatever.
Yep, you can plan on that. Okay. We did a Methodist school in Cap Haitian that I visited years ago. They had 1,000 kids back then. They have 1,500 now. When I was there several years ago, they had 1,000 kids and didn't have a library. Okay. Now they have 1,500 kids, and they have not one but 2 computer labs, and each one's got the internet in a box with about 6,000 or 7,000 books in it. Okay. Donating computers to your schools is the easiest thing in the world. Okay. Easy. Getting them there is the hardest thing. Okay. And I'm sure Kevin can talk about logistics too. All right. So what we try to do is we try to marry up what Kevin is doing with solar power. And then when we're 100% sure that solar power is going to be installed by a certain time, we then begin the logistics train of getting you the computers. We have plenty of computers. We update them regularly, or at least our server. So don't worry about that. If you get the power, we'll get you the computers. So let me end with that and open up to Q&A for Kevin and I both.
Danny, if you would be so kind as to stop sharing your screen, then we can see one another.
You want me to stop it sharing?
Yeah.
I can do that.
Thank you.
I'll get rid of that. Yeah. Boom. Boom.
Should be just a stop share button, and then it'll.
Where is that? Let me see.
Should be near the bottom right.
Yeah. That's the Zoom button. Oh, I know mine's up on the top there. Oh, shoot. Pause share. There we go.
So while Danny's working on that, I just dropped in the chat a great shipper out of Tampa, Florida. He's really, really quirky. But he was a recommendation for Schools for Haiti, and they've shipped everything from him through him for the past I don't know, 7 years or something. So if you guys need to ship things, I think he definitely ships to Cap Haitian, and I think he still ships to Port-au-Prince. He's a really odd guy. He's not very good at communication, but I tell you, I send things to his warehouse and he gets them right to Haiti, and there's not a lot of there's no problems whatsoever with customs. It just gets there magically, and I think he's shipping like a couple containers a month, and he just puts your stuff in with the other stuff that's going there, and then you know, there's a charge for it, but it's a very reasonable charge. So anyway, I just dropped that into the chat, and you can talk to him about any shipments that you might have.
Kevin, I think the other thing we should say something about is teaching the teachers.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, before you do that, Danny,
Yeah.
you said at the end of your presentation, this is Bob Benning from Oak Ridge, Tennessee. You summarized it well for me, if I understood you correctly. You said, first of all, you have to have the solar panels before you can ship any kind of computers. Did I understand that correct?
Well, or any other form of reliable electricity.
Well, we don't have that in our 3 parishes. And
Yeah.
I guess I would go back to Kevin. We have 3 parishes that have 3 schools.
Okay.
If I'm understanding you, before we could, and we don't have the kind of certainty, even with our gasoline generators, as many places don't. So if we were to pursue this, we're looking at an estimate of thousands of dollars to get the solar panels in first. Is that correct?
So, well, what Denny and I are doing is typically, like, if you come, Bob, you'll come to both Denny and I and say, hey, we want solar. We'll give you a memorandum of understanding, and we'll have a installation date with you guys. And then typically what we want to do is we want to have the computer shipped in time for this solar installation, so that our guys can bring the we would just ship the computers right to Cap Haitian. That's where our warehouse is. That's where our training center is. I'll just say one caveat. So Brighten Haiti, because of the security issues, right now is primarily working in northern Haiti around Cap Haitian. Certainly nowhere near Port-au-Prince. And then the west side of the island we want to get to. But you know, you got to go through Port-au-Prince to get there. So we're looking for ways to get there by boat, but it's a challenge. So right now I would say northern Haiti, you know, and eastern Haiti.
Yeah, that's because of the conditions right now. But I got to tell you, I'm working with Catholic schools down in Lacaille, Ilavesh, out on La Gonave. We're working with schools in City Soleil. You guys know where that is. And we're doing a lot of work, with the Catholic Diocese of Hinch. Okay. How we got our computers there is an amazing thing. They went via the Dominican Republic. But just within the last month, or last 6 months, we've probably sent 750 or more computers to Haiti, okay, by different means. To go back to the electricity issue, your comment about generators is very valid. We've been doing this for about 20 years now or more. And when a school has a generator as their source of electricity, that is not adequate. It is not. Particularly now when they can't afford to run them, period, okay? And we all know that the public utility power is unreliable. And that's why this relationship that we have with Kevin is so valuable. Solar is the answer, okay?
I understand. I appreciate
Danny,
it.
Danny, earlier you had mentioned that your system doesn't use batteries, and batteries are obviously expensive. My guess is, I don't know a lot about solar, but it's because school's during the day and that's when power is available because of the sun.
That's
Or-
exactly right. Yeah. So
Sorry, Kevin, you said that. Yeah.
yeah, I said that. Yep. So the inverters that we use transfer energy real time during daylight hours, and that's why for schools it makes so much sense. For hospitals and organizations that need 24/7, we can add batteries, but it certainly adds a substantial cost to it.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep. And there's
Any
a
other
question from
questions?
Kelly. So Kelly has a question. Is there training for the local people to be able to maintain these systems, both for the solar and computer training? How successful is the long-term effectiveness of these systems in very rural areas with much lower educational levels? Most teachers and students in our parish have no idea how to use either. So I think Denny and I can both take a stab at that. So in terms of the solar goes, one thing that we do is, so our solar is installed by apprentices, and it's pretty remarkable. These young kids, they grew up in Teton Yen, no electricity in their homes and schools themselves, and they're learning how to install solar energy. So there are local technicians, and what we do with schools is we have 3 or 4 people either from the staff or student body working alongside our apprentices as we install the systems so that they can understand what the solar system is and doing. We record the whole thing, and hopefully they'll have a little bit of insight into, and more importantly, ownership, mental ownership of it, because they have the sweat equity and they've touched the parts and they should remember things. And then, we also provide the schools with a cell phone with some minutes, not unlimited minutes, but the purpose of that cell phone is twofold. It's to contact Brighten Haiti, so that they can talk to us and we can maybe walk them through some troubleshooting tips and different things. And then also it's for them to be able to report back to us about, how the system's producing and the effectiveness that it has over the coming years. So we don't want to just install solar and not have it work. And then as far as the computer systems, we're working with Denny. Denny's training one of our apprentices. And one of our apprentices is gonna, at least when we're doing the solar installation, then our apprentice will teach the teachers how to run the internet in a box. It's a 2-day training, and then from there, then it's really up to them to kind of maintain their learning. And so, Denny, do you have
Yeah,
anything?
Let me just add to that. The maintenance on the computers themselves is obviously we're not in a position to go down there and fix computers, okay? But I gotta say that we've been unbelievably fortunate. We're typically using Dell laptops, okay? And we load the Linux Mint operating system on them, okay? Now, why do we do that? Well, we do that for a couple of reasons. One reason is because I have an obligation with my donor to wipe the hard drive of any computer that's given to me, okay? And then we just don't have the financial resources to buy site licenses for Windows 10, Windows 11, whatever, okay? Not only that, I wouldn't want to do it anyway, because those later versions of Windows put such a burden on the computer that you're killing it. You're not going to get any life out of it. Where Linux Mint, it's like the computer is going for a Sunday drive, okay? The burden on the computer is unbelievably light. A good example of this is I did a school. I actually installed the computer lab myself at an Episcopal school in Terre Rouge years ago. I put in 18 computers in that lab. Okay. I went back about 3 years later, and out of the 18 that I put in, 16 of them were still running fine. Okay. So not bad. Okay. Not bad at all. And my relationship, again, Sue can attest to this. My relationship with all the different mission committees is that, you know, when you lose a few computers, if you do, and you want some more, tell me. Of course, now COVID and the violence and all that has had a negative effect. We all know that.
Hey, Denny, I want you to kind of conclude us with what I think is the punchline that you haven't mentioned. Tell them what you shared with me in terms of the results of the schools that have had the internet in the box, their success rate.
Well, that actually came from, Sue, was it from your parish priest that I got
Yes.
the email? You talked about what the average passing rate across Haiti was, and then what happened at Midor?
Yeah. Yeah. For several years after the computer lab was installed, we had 100% pass rate for the students for both the 9th and the 13th grade national exams, well above the national averages.
Way above.
And you know, there, I'm sure there are lots of factors to that, but the priest in Maydor attributed it, at least in part, to the computer lab.
So these kids in Haiti, as we know, they are so thirsty to learn, like kids anywhere in the world, but they are starved for material. So here we give them this system now that's got nearly unlimited material, more than they'll ever see in their life before. And suddenly we're unleashing their creativity. It's life-changing and can really convert and change this country, especially if you also put in a Starlink system. So now they have not just what's loaded on the server, but then of course the World Wide Web, obviously monitored hopefully well by the teachers and all, so they can stay safe and all those good things get introducced. But
yeah,
really,
let me turn that around, David, by saying, you know, I told you the story about the school in Cap Haitian with no library. I mean, let me ask you guys, of all the schools that you're working with, how many of them have a real library in them full of books? Yeah, it's a real low number. Okay, so that's one thing. The second thing I want to point out, and it's not as true now as it used to be, but you know, any of you that go way back in Haiti, back when they were relying on Digicel and Natcom for internet connection, it was pathetic. It was terrible. It was expensive and unreliable. Okay, so when we put an internet in a box server in a school, that is an intranet. Okay, and it costs you nothing, zero. Okay, so now you know, with Starlink, I think that's wonderful. I hope that the whole world gets it. Okay. And maybe the need for our internet in a box is going to go down. I'm okay with that. Okay. All right. But meantime, we can give you a wealth of educational resource for nothing.
And Denny, so I think the Starlink is a game changer. The problem is there's not enough materials in Creole, and you guys provide that.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
You know, I tried to, when I started Brighten Haiti, my brilliant idea that didn't pan out was providing tablets full of books in Creole and French, and it was a nightmare to try to find anything, and you did it. So yeah, I think Starlink and having internet access is super important, but everything that you have in their native language, that's unmatched.
So I'll be able to give a personal testimony because in January, I'm planning to go to the northern part of Haiti to my own parish. And I'm going to be taking down with me with 3 other parishioners, 10 or 12 computers from Denny. And so we're going to take them, divide them in our suitcases and take them down ourselves. Really the best and safest way to get them there at this moment in time. So, and we're going to set up a computer lab while we're there. So very excited. And I'll be able to report back to you all how that goes.
Yep.
David, when are you going?
Be getting there January 10th.
Okay, I'll be there the 12th, so maybe we can get together there.
That would be fantastic. Do that, yeah. So we're out of our time for tonight. There may be some remaining questions. Feel free to email me those. I can pass them along to Denny and Kevin. I hope you'll, as I put in the chat, I will follow tonight with a recording. You'll get a copy of the recording from tonight. I'll send you all of the links, their contact information, the information about HaitiNet and Starlink. So everything kind of we've talked about tonight, I'll summarize for you in an email that you'll get. I'll send it to everybody who's registered, because a lot of folks didn't make it tonight. They must have found something much more exciting to do, or if they're in a food coma after dinner or whatever. But thank you to all of you for joining us. We're going to have the month of December off for all the holiday reasons. There will be no Zoom. But then in January, we're going to do a Zoom meeting on fundraising for parish twinning. Dr. Sue is going to be helping lead that with a couple other folks I've invited to talk about how to successfully raise funds for our twinning effort. So I think that's going to be a popular topic, and look forward to seeing you all again in January. Please invite your friends and other Haiti and Latin American committee members to join us. And in the meantime, everybody have a fabulous and wonderful Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thanks, David.
Thank
Thanks,
you, Danny.
David.
Thank you, Kevin, so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.